Kick it open.
Step it up a little, okay. I'll work on that one.
It is our good fortune this morning to have Pat Duran from the Federal Home Loan Bank join us, and I'd like him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the May 11th, 2017 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome. First item of business, please.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Questions or comments on the consent agenda?
No questions. I would move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $1,808,212.58. The highlights out of those vouchers are Capers contributions of $273,196.15, payments on the Willard Bridge to A.M. Coron and Sons and the Union Pacific Railroad of $649,048.97. We had county projects of $45,414.95. Those were primarily deferred maintenance projects, including carpeting projects throughout the county. We had withholdings with the state of Kansas of $55,351.77. And then finally, the state of Kansas, which was payments to the Department of Revenue and motor vehicle payments of $598,062.75. I do not have any questions regarding the vouchers, and I would move for their approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the correction orders by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Bond Council, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2017-22, authorizing the issuance of the estimated $36 million aggregate principal amount of Shawnee County taxable industrial revenue bonds, Federal Home Loan Bank of Topeka project, to be issued in one or more series, and approving and authorizing execution of accompanying documents.
Good morning, Bob Perry. Before we get into the resolution, Commissioner Archer thought it'd be a good idea if I kind of reminded the folks that we started this project 2 years ago. And the Federal Home Loan Bank had filed an application asking the county to issue these revenue bonds. The project at that time was $26 million, 85,000 square foot building. We sent out mail notices and did a publication and held a public hearing on July the 16th of 2015, at which time nobody from the public appeared or made comments anyways regarding the project, the issuance of the bonds, or the Federal Home Loan Bank's request that the county not object to their request to the Board of Tax Appeals for an ad valorem exemption. They've commenced construction on the project. They're nearing completion of the project. In late fall of last year, they filed a supplement to their application indicating that the cost of the project had gone to $36 million of estimated amount, and that would be the estimated amount of bonds to be issued, and that the project size has increased to 95,000 square feet. And we're here today to have the resolution authorizing the bonds. They've kind of like to have some flexibility of when they actually issue the bonds, since they're buying the bond themselves, and this would allow them to time the issuance and the delivery of the bonds to better suit their needs.
Thank you.
And with that, I'd ask that you consider the resolution.
Thank you. Questions or comments for Mr. Perry.
Do not have
No,
questions.
I would just thank you for the presentation. Also thank the representatives from Federal Home Loan Bank for being here and their investment in the community. And I would move for the approval of the resolution.
A second.
Yeah, and I agree. Every time I drive to work in the morning, I see the building going up, and it spells progress and jobs to me, and so
Definitely.
I'm excited about the project. Motion made to adopt the resolution by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Pat, thank you for being here. Bob, thank you. Next item, please.
Item C, Kansas Expo Center. Number 1, consider approval of request for a capital expenditure in an amount of $20,795.15 to purchase 3 large, high-volume, low-speed fans in the ceiling of Domer Arena to help with air circulation during events that occur during times of high temperature or humidity.
Good morning, Commissioners. Hans Niska, Kansas Expo Center. Yeah, this is a project that we would like to complete this summer. One of the challenges with Domer Arena, now that Justin has it filled every weekend, is in the summertime. The Domer Arena has very poor air circulation. It basically has radiant heat and some exhaust fans. So in the hot, humid summertime, it gets very stagnant in there. And so it's important that we invest in the comfort for our clients so that they are comfortable. One nice thing about this investment is it is something that we'll be able to reappropriate during the renovation, so it's important to note. There's 3 companies. 2 of them are the most reputable. One's called Big Ass Fans, and the other one is called Macro Air. Yes, that's the name of them. So
It is.
I got to say that on a public agenda. Macro, actually, the 2 most reputable companies, Big Ass Fans and Macro Air, were both actually started by the same guy. He started Big Ass Fans, and then once he perfected a version of it, he moved on and started a company called Macro Air, which is actually a very highly recommended version of the fan. It's called a direct drive, which is the most efficient form of this fan, and probably the most sensible to use in a dusty environment like Domer Arena. So Populous, actually, Charlie with Populous, who's been brought on board with renovations, is actually a big fan of this brand of fan, and it'll probably be used in a larger capacity during the renovation. So long-winded, yes, I know, but I'm recommending that we invest in 3 large fans for the cost of $20,795.15 out of the capital expenditure budget for 2017. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Commissioner?
No,
Shelley,
I
any-
do not have anything.
Okay.
I don't have any questions. I would move approval. And this was approved at the...
By the advisory board, yep,
Board.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Hans.
Appreciate it.
Next item, please.
Item D, Human Resources. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-156-2017 Memorandum of Understanding with ASCME covering the bargaining unit for refuse and recycling employees, Local 1294, Missouri and Kansas, Council 61, for calendar years 2017, 2018, and 2019.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff McMillan, Human Resources. I do have 4 blank copies that have been signed by, 4 original copies that have been signed by myself and Jim Crowell and Tom Block. This was a fairly straightforward one, but I will summarize changes made to this Memorandum of Understanding. It did not include much in the way of wages because all of that was agreed to with the CBIZ study, so those were given. The one wage addition in there is for the final year of the contract, 2019, that was 1% and a step. But other than that, it's the CBIZ study being implemented as we had already agreed. With all of that said, there is some minor economic impact, very minor, in that the extra board personnel in solid waste, who typically, those are the guys who show up to work every day and are not quite sure what they're going to do today, depends on our needs. They are occasionally assigned to drive the trucks out there, and we have provided for them several things. One, they will receive a $2 differential for that duties, but we've also expanded the training and qualification of the drivers so that we keep them better skilled and better ready to perform those functions. That was in 9.1. In 9.2, we've also added an additional requirement for retraining of those personnel who would get behind the wheel of vehicles. If, say, a truck driver were to ever bid off of that position and be away from being behind the wheel for 1 year or more, prior to being able to return behind the wheel, they would have to go through some retraining. In light of the recent accident, we all felt like that was a pretty good idea to increase that focus on maintaining those qualifications. Besides that, 9.4, we agreed to pay to renew those drivers' CDLs, minus the cost that it would be to renew their regular driver's license. We, in 9.5, for the household hazardous waste programs, we've put in a requirement that they work 2 events each 6 months to help us recover the investment that we make in training them to handle hazardous materials and such. We don't want the training to be for naught, so they have agreed to work at least 2 of those events every 6-month period once they've been successfully trained. 16.1 specifically references that there is no back pay with these minor changes, so everything is instituted going forward. There's nothing to make arrears on. And there's an auto renewal in 24.2, and 2019 going forward from there, wages would be frozen until such point as we would have a new memorandum of understanding. One of maybe the better things, this was all language and fairly cut and dry, good conversations. One of the better things I think that came out of these talks and negotiations was not contract language so much as talking about communication and talking. And we agreed to a practice that we started a week or so ago of having a monthly labor management meeting where we get some of the management together with the guys over there and just monthly sit down for an hour or so and have a conversation about what's going on, what the needs are, what their concerns are. And the first one went quite well, and everybody was happy. And so that was a good idea that came about through conversations that didn't make it to language, but might have been as important as anything that we wrote down. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Jeff?
I don't have any questions.
Then I'll move to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item E, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request for award bid to Sunflower Paving, Inc. for reconstruction of the cart path and services on hole number 1 at Lake Shawnee Golf Course at a cost of $19,000, and authorization and execution of contract C-157, 2017 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. Before I get into this item, on Monday, the item that was presented by the Kansas Expo Center kept coming up during my presentation. They mentioned some MMA fighting and Big Kansas. So people kept making some comments about that. I hope that those same comments that Mr. Niska just brought up don't come up during this presentation by me about his fan company.
Kansas won, by the way.
Yes, sir.
For the record.
Commissioners, we went out for, we have an area that's kind of a common area out at the Lake Shawnee Golf Course that has been several years in need of repair and replacement of concrete. We submitted a preliminary project budget after getting some preliminary bids on this, and we thought it was going to come in around $35,000. We were pleased to get bids that were all under $35,000, and the lowest, most responsive bidder being Sunflower Paving, and recommend that you award that bid and we move forward with that repair. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Questions or comments for Mr. Knight?
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-158-2017 with the City of Topeka, granting permission for
to you to maybe purchase a new truck.
Historically, we've contracted out snow removal in the area, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
And it's pretty expensive from what I recall. too.
From time to time, depending on the size of the snow event, it can be as much as $2,500 an event.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Questions, comments for Bill?
No, I would move for approval.
A second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please, ma'am.
Item F3, consider approval of request to utilize contingency funding to finance the following. A, emergency sanitary sewer line replacement at North Annex in the amount of $2,607.97. B, electrical and HVAC repairs necessary to repair lightning strike damages at the courthouse at an estimated cost not to exceed $10,000. And C, funding for code deficiencies noted during recent inspection at Manor Conference Center by the City of Topeka Fire Department at an estimated cost not to exceed $10,000.
Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. These three items were just want to jump up and surprise you things that struck us that I think it would be very difficult for us to meet budget if we didn't use contingency funds on. The Manor Conference Center issue, probably need to address the whole contract with the hotel and some of the things that they do and we do, because there's some lack of clarity on some items. But be that as it may, we had the lightning strike that's could even get more expensive than we anticipate from this. And the last item, sewer line, we had to saw cut some floor. That was a mess, but we got through it at a relatively modest cost for all the work that was involved in that. So I'd ask for your approval to keep my budget from taking these surprise hits.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
I would move for approval, but if we could address the HVAC for the courthouse, we had a prior issue with some repairs to the line. I know that we've done quite a bit of work on our air cooling in the courthouse. Can you kind of give us an update on prognosis? How is
Our chilled water system is working normally and is 100% operational. What the lightning strike did, when they did the ESCO to buy some new equipment and improve the systems that we had off the original systems, they put in what are called VFDs, or variable frequency drive motors, which ramp up and down as far as their speed for the demand that's on them, which saves you money. Those VFDs from the lightning strike, we had several of them that just got fried. That strike was an interesting thing, but it destroyed some stuff, and they're not inexpensive items. So that slowed us down a little bit, but right now everything is 100% operational.
Okay, good. Again, that was a motion to approve.
Okay.
A second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Bill.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner.
Before we let Mr. Kroll go, if we could have just kind of a brief update on how our parking lot is coming along, and are we on track, or?
We're pretty much on track with the parking lot replacement. Did run into a couple of items that will come up as change orders. The subsoil was not in particularly good condition, so Geosource, recommended that we take out another 18 inches of it and put in the rock that you see being dumped out there. The oil tank looked good. We don't have any issues with contamination of the soil at this point, which was a concern that we had. The nuclear bunker that's kind of underneath that parking lot is getting backfilled to a certain degree, so things are going well on that end of it. And soon Dusty will have air conditioning in the EOC pretty much year-round, which I know will make him happy because that's a little oven down there. So everything on that is pretty much going on schedule. The meeting we had last week, we expect the project to be completed totally in July, the parking lot portion, and getting people back on that, hopefully early June at the latest, if the weather will cooperate with us.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner. And, yeah, when I drove by and saw that big hole, I thought, what's going on?
Well, we
Wow.
found some old foundations from old buildings and everything else when we got down
Is
in
that
there.
right?
Yeah, there's a limestone foundation that basically ran the perimeter of that parking lot. No idea what it was, but it was a pretty significant building in its day, so.
It might be a mystery for the history.
Well, we didn't want to get the Historical Society running out here too much to slow our project down, so.
The history guy's blushing. That was a good one. Good one. Good one, Kevin. All right, next
you, ma'am.
item.
Item G, corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-160-2017 with Thompson Reuters West Law for the continuation of an arrangement to provide inmates with access to legal research resources while incarcerated in the county's correctional facility.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is just the renewal of a contract that we've had for several years. This allows us to set up a specific law research for inmates. That is a right that they do have for access to court. It keeps us out of trouble with the courts and the law and the legalities. The inmates pay for this themselves. This comes out of their wellness account, and this has been very vital for the inmates. We have a program that allows them to go to the library and do the research, things like that. It's not hooked up. They can't get on. It's a secure terminal, things like that. So with that, I just ask for your permission to proceed, and we'll answer any questions you may have.
Very good. I'll move to approve the contract. You have-
Second.
Okay. Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you,
Thank you,
Brian.
sir.
Next item, please.
Item H, Commission. Number 1, acknowledge receipt of resignation of Allison Alejos as Director of the Health Department effective May 19th.
Comments or questions? Motion?
I'll move to accept, but I also wish to thank Ms. Alejos for her years of service to the county, the transition from the health agency to the health department, and moving into the health department building and everything she did in getting that established. So,
I'll second that. Motion?
I'll
Yes,
make a few
Commissioner Beer.
comments. I'm going to regretfully, we'll have to accept this, but I know Allison's watching today, and so I want to say a few words. First, her staff, I know, just adores her. She has been a great leader in that capacity with the health department. She has seen them through some really tough times, through splitting of the health department and the community health center, moving to a new building, and you walk in the health department and it's a great environment. It's very positive, and they really care about this community and the clients that they serve. And her work with CALD, with the Kansas Association of Health Departments, local health departments. She's been a statewide leader there. She's also a leader with the Kansas Association of Counties. She serves as president at this time. So her work on a statewide basis. Her work with Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods will be a legacy of hers. She has taken that coalition to new heights along with that leadership team. She has incorporated what they do for community health into the Community Health Improvement Plan, which is almost just as important as the master plan for Parks and Recreation. She has worked on emergency preparedness, the Ebola preparedness, her consultations with the CDC, preventing violence in the workplace. She will be greatly missed, not just by this county, but by this community. But I am confident that Allison will move on to bigger and probably better things. For those of you who have been around this county for a long time, used to be the A team was Allison. And I know Alice has moved on with Grace Med. Allison has great things ahead of her. And so it's about being true to what matters, and I know this is important for Allison, so I wish her all the best.
Motion made to acknowledge by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, administrative communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cindy Evans, Director with Shawnee County Extension. I just wanted to take a chance to introduce the newest member of our staff. We didn't let any grass grow between our feet. Jamie retired officially on Saturday, and Ariel Whiteley has joined as our new horticulture agent effective on Monday. She is a K-State grad, just to add.
Of course. Duh.
And most recently, she's been working in the horticulture nursery industry.
Yeah,
So
very
we
good.
welcome her.
Welcome. Welcome.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Hans Niska, Director of Operations, Kansas Expo Center. First of all, since John brought it up, during the fan project, one of the fan companies, I won't name which one, did prompt me to do a Google search for the John Knight fans. But turns out he does have a lot of fans, but there wasn't anything comparable to get a bid from, so. But anyhow, a couple more busy weeks here at the Expo Center. We have the All Breeds Dog Show this weekend, which is for dog lovers, it's a great show for us. It fills up both the exhibition hall and Landon Arena with all different kinds of dogs, and they're all very, very good-looking dogs. So swing by and take a look. Carnival's coming to town next week. We'll be starting to set up Monday. The following weekend is going to be extremely busy for us. We have the Buckskin Horse Show, and in Domer we have the Carnival that takes up a decent portion of our parking lot, and then we have 6 graduations on Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to be a very busy weekend for us at the Expo Center next weekend. But that's all I have to communicate.
And then next Thursday is the third Thursday of the year.
Yes, I'm sorry. I should first, third Thursday of the year. So
Okay.
come on out and enjoy a nice evening at Heritage Hall.
Very good. Let's publicize that more. Maybe next week if we
Yeah,
can.
we've been pushing it out, and Allison's been working hard to get that out to the community. So
Excellent.
we're hoping
Okay.
for a big
Okay.
turnout.
Thank you, Hans.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Is John Knight behind that?
John?
Where do you think he- I was just going to ask him a question. I just wanted to make you nervous. No.
I'm not nervous.
No, John, I know that the commission, I believe, received an email from some concerned parties about Gage Park and
Oh, yes.
and about preserving history, that type of thing. Can you kind of address that a little bit?
Absolutely. The my comment regarding the spaghetti and the roads took way too much importance. Gage Park's been a fixture in our community for over 100 years. I want to play off of that history, be respectful of that history, and develop Gage Park going forward. That was the part that I needed to emphasize a little bit more. And there'll be numerous public engagement
Right.
opportunities in which the public can come in and weigh in as well too.
And certainly the consultant is that's gonna weigh in on their recommendations too, because it
Ab-
has such a depth of history in that park. So I just wanted to bring that out in the public. We haven't been flooded with emails, but one in particular that received Tuesday morning, and just thought that was important.
Thank
So-
you.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that
Commissioner
up, and I should have made a little bit more a point of that one during my presentation. So.
No, I'm glad you
Thank
brought
you.
that up. That is a concern. Anyone else for administrative communications? Commissioner?
There's been a lot going on this week.
Yes.
Gosh, the Small Business Awards, congratulations to all of them. You guys probably have some of these too. Leadership Grader Topeka, John Austinson and Alice Weingartner, they were, and a lot of people, a lot of upcoming leaders. And then, of course, last night with Jado. It was a good meeting and a lot going on, so it's good.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Cook?
Commissioners, 2 weeks ago, on the 27th, I had brought to the attention of the commission the issue of inmates at our Shawnee County Department of Corrections that were waiting to be transported to Larned for competency evaluation, and we talked about that a little bit, those 11 individuals, and I've had some continuing conversations with Brian Cole, the director, and I'm going to ask if he could just kind of give us an update as to where we stand.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. Brian Cole, Department of Corrections. Yes, sir, at that time, we had 12 individuals who were waiting to go to Larner to be receive treatment and other things regarding competency as far back as being ordered of January 19th. At this time, give you an update that no inmates have been added to that list. We have seen one inmate transport out of there to the facility and transported to Larned, but the other 11 still await, and we don't have a date yet for that. But one of the other things that often come up in a lot of the conversations I have with the community or the commissioners is what is the cost? What is it actually costing the taxpayers when it comes to housing those who are waiting to go there or deal with serious and persistent mental illness? And so we did a comprehensive study just with these 12 individuals, and we spent almost, well, over $100,000 just on these 12 inmates waiting in the community for medication, housing, psychiatric help, mental health that's in the jail, oftentimes 2 officers dealing with, and then sometimes outside agencies coming in to help. So this is an expensive business for the Department of Corrections, and it's expensive to the taxpayers, those waiting. Now, obviously, they are going to come back to the jail, and we understand that, but these are individuals that are costing a lot of money. And so I think it's very important, and and I'm going to try to track this a lot more to give us a relevant yearly cost, because sometimes the inmates that are going to Larned may not cost as much as some of these inmates, but it's a significant cost. So I think it's very important to know that that's a lot of money.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. And I think that's something that we as the taxpayers need to be aware of, that those are our tax dollars that are paying for the obligations of the state of Kansas. And as a commissioner, I find it troubling that the state is engaged in an active discussion about adding budget or adding income and revenue to the Department of Administration or Department of Aging for the concealed carry, but not adding money to actually address the issues that we have. And so really, it's about the obligations that we as the state owe our citizens and really addressing these mental health needs. And it's also come to my attention that this isn't limited to just Shawnee County. This is a statewide issue. And so we're talking about implication really across the state of Kansas. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you for staying on top of that. It's duly noted and appreciated. I wanted to give a little bit of the highlights of the JADO meeting last night. It was a short meeting, only 2 hours and 15 minutes. But a couple of the highlights, we had the Go Topeka annual audit and the JADO audit report, and they were clean audits. And I know a lot of times we take that for granted, but I never do. I always look at audit reports as very serious items. We had discussion and approval of the extension of Mars Chocolate, North American, to make Twix, and we had some samples last night, and they were excellent. And Commissioner Cook brought up that what a great corporate citizen Mars Chocolate North American, and all the things they're invested in our community. It was really, and I appreciate your bringing that up. We talked. We had update on the East Topeka Learning Center, and we found out all about new market tax credits, and quickly forgot what we learned. And then we had a recommendation on the broadband task force and awarded an RFP, and I know Commissioner Bueller and Mayor Walgast worked tirelessly on that, and that was an accomplishment. And then finally, we extended a contract with Go Topeka for 3 more years, and I don't think we can say enough about the progress that Go Topeka and the Chamber of Commerce have made under the new leadership of Matt Pavarnik. It truly is remarkable, the turnaround that's occurred, in my opinion, in those organizations, again, under Matt Pavarnik's leadership. That's all I had. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need, so we're officially adjourned.